What is going on, Panther Lair? We are back talking about the Pittsburgh Panthers road victory over the Syracuse Orange this past Saturday. Now, I want to take a look at ball screen situations involving Jaland Lowe. I think that those improved in terms of execution over the course of the game, and it's one of the reasons that Pitt was able to emerge victorious. So I have two sequences here in the first half to take a look at. Let's dive in. Before we do, I do want to call out the fact that I think Pitt was really intentional with some of the urgency they showed in like their staggered screens along the wing, zoom action, those types of things. And I think it put Syracuse in a position where their defenders were, trailing a little bit more because of the urgency, had to stop on a dime and then cut back the other direction. And that opened up some kind of double gaps here just by the product of two players kind of clearing out of the same space there for players to attack into, particularly going from this left wing into the right side. So Lowe, Ishmael Leggett, Brandon Cummings, they all had to go at this. So I thought it was a pretty good adjustment and a pretty good addition that the Panthers added over the course of the week. So diving in here, see some of that urgency. Lowe's going to attack. Now, he's going to take a look to see, is Corn available on the roll here? And even though Leggett is lifting out of this space, just gets tagged enough where this is not available. But a pretty good read from Lowe that he finds the one pass away guy, that being Guillermo Diaz-Graham, and he just serves as that connecting piece here for Corn to get this layup to open up the scoring in the game. But again, you see that was kind of a miss, and that that could have been Lowe hitting Corin if there was just a little bit of difference in timing there. So similar thing here, you're going to see that side pick and roll. Lowe is going to come out of here. Now here, there's an opportunity for him to maybe hit Papaconti. So, I mean, it's hard. Obviously, I'm stopping this video, but there's a window here, ball on his right hand. I think that's an important note, to get this ball into Conti. But by the time that the window is definitely open, he's already committed to the pass to Zach Austin here at the top of the circle, and he serves as the connecting piece. Now, I mean, in an ideal world, maybe this is like an alley-oop. I don't think Conti's really like an above-the-rim player, though, so this is probably not realistic. He goes up to gets it. I don't think he's just going to kind of tip this in. Ends up coming down with it, does miss this layup, but I think the point being is that in the first half, there was just a little bit of mistiming in terms of kind of, Lowe seeing his man, the roll man getting open, those types of things. So he had to find that connecting piece, not the end of the world. But as we move into the second half, you'll see that the execution here is just a little bit better. So high ball screen here with Corin. Two guys go to the ball. That is very common. But ball in Lowe's left hand here, and he is able to thread the needle between two defenders, find Corin, and right here you see like Guillermo Diaz-Graham's defender is going to kind of partially tag here, but he's really trying to lift with Diaz-Graham because he doesn't really want one of these flare threes or Corin to be able to kick this back. I think Guillermo's only three in this game actually came from a situation where Corin kind of kicked this back out to Diaz-Graham. And then this really is kind of the responsibility of Leggett's defender as the low man, depending on how the Orange are trying to play this. If they're trying to high tag, but I don't think that was the commitment here. And Corin is able to get a dunk early in the second half. So here, this is just Lowe really doing a good job of picking apart the defense. So I like that Corin, at times he would come up, look like he's going to send, a back screen, and then like at the last minute, he would just change the angle of the screen. It really made it hard for Lampkin here to kind of figure out which side he wanted to position himself on in this ball screen defense. And I think that's relevant because as he retreats this way, well, now J.J. Starling's caught on this screen, and Lampkin's momentum's going this way, and Lowe just does a really good job snaking this. And again, snaking these pick and rolls is useful because it just forces defenders to help for a lot longer. And with Starling trailing so much, there are now 3 defenders having to account for Lowe. That's just really good math in favor of the Panthers. This is a middle pick and roll. This is probably on Zach Austin's defender. I believe this is Bell over here. This probably should tag because he's the weak side defender on this, but no one really helps as the low man. And also, like, by the time that Damian Dunn's defender comes off, he just lifts into this vacated space by Corin and Starling, and just gets this open three. So really good read here by Lowe, good relocation there by Dunn, and just good execution. So sort of similar thing here. I think this ends up being kind of like a switch. There was no time for this to be a hedge because it kind of came more out of like that semi-transition state. And you see 2 go with that, and then Lowe is just able to find Corin here. So if this is a high tag, this is not a great high tag here on Austin. I don't know, right side of the floor, right wing. I'm not sure how much I'm going to commit off of Austin in this situation as the one pass away guy. But again, none of the low men kind of established themselves here to commit to Corin rolling wide open. He ends up getting fouled here. and ends up going to the free throw line. I think the bigger piece here is that Lowe just did a really good job, particularly in the second half, of making decisive reads, and his teammates were just putting themselves in position to either kind of lift in the space, like you saw with Dunn's three, or the hard rolls and kind of a non-committal tag. So I think Lowe was just able to process and dissect that quickly, and it helped Corin get some looks at the rim, whether that be dunks as we saw, or get fouled. I don't think he made either free throw here, but he was able to at least get to the free throw line. So I think these are things that we haven't seen a lot though from Pitt and from Lowe. We've seen a lot of his individual scoring, but haven't really seen him pick apart defenses kind of to that like 6-7 assist range that we did earlier in the season. Obviously against ACC opponents it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but the more successful that the Panthers are in this area, I think the better position they're going to be as they move into the meat of their conference schedule coming up.